Okay, so here we are in the high-level funnel builder, and today I'm going to show you absolutely everything you need to know to create beautiful yet functional funnels, attach domains to them, and sell products, most importantly, through, again, beautiful landing pages. So let's dive into it. So as you can see, I'm here on sites, and I've selected funnels, and I'm going to go ahead and click new funnel, and I have the option to create from blank or from lots of different templates. If I click on templates here, there's loads of stuff that high-level includes completely for free that you can start out with. Sometimes I like starting with these, sometimes I don't. It's up to you. For the purposes of this video, we're going to start from blank, and I'm going to name this test funnel. All right, so as you can see, this has popped in our account, and I want to first go over the anatomy of this builder in the first place. So the most important things to understand here are first the steps, and this is where we add the steps that a funnel is actually going to go through. So I'll go ahead and add a step 1. And the path for this is going to be, let's say, opt-in, and we're going to click create funnel step. And then I'll call this step 2, and this one will be maybe the video page, and I'll create that, and then we'll do step 3, and we'll call this the thank you page. Amazing. So these are our 3 steps. And as you can see, now that we've created these, there's actually a lot of other settings that we have to look at as well. We're going to come back to those settings. But first of all, what I want to show you is this settings page here, which is the global settings for the entire funnel. So here we can change the name. We can change the path, which is the words that come after the root URL. So if my root URL was agencydominance.com, this would be agencydominance.com/test-funnel. We've got tracking code we can put in here, both for the head and body. The favicon, which is the little icon up in the corner, we can put here, and then we can select the domain for the funnel here. We'll show you how to do this later in the video, timestamps below, but just so you know, this is where you access it. Also very important, this is where you turn on the payment mode from test to live. So if you just want to test payments here, this is how you toggle this off and on. And then lastly, image optimization. I always recommend having this on. It's going to make the pages just load a lot faster, which is super important. Then between steps and settings here, we have stats and sales. Now we just created this landing page, so obviously there's no stats and sales, but I want to show you one that does have stats and sales so you can see what we're working towards. All right, so this is my automated webinar for my coaching program, Agency Dominance. So there are 5 steps to this funnel, as you can see here, and in the stats, we're seeing the stats for each one of them. So first of all is the opt-in page where people go and they submit their information. And in the last 30 days, we've had almost 2,400 visits to this page, but only about 1,900 of those were unique. And of the 1,900 unique people that saw the page, about 435 of those gave me their email, so at 23%, which is pretty good / average. Then we've got the webinar watch room page. You can see 881 visits, 458 unique people. This one's just a little bit higher because some people probably saved it from earlier where they watched it and then they want to come back and watch it, or I sent them an email where they can go directly to this page after they opted in originally. Then from there, you can see the numbers on who went to the sales page, who went to the checkout page. Then you can also see the amount of opt-ins on the sales page. So that's name, phone, email, and then purchases on the sales page. So we've got 6.67%, 8 total purchases. This is the amount that those sold for, average cart value. And then it gives you this interesting metric, earnings per page view. So basically what this means is every time I get somebody to see the checkout page after they've gone through this funnel, I make $75 on average. So this is really helpful because I can do the math and say, okay, of 1,900 people that saw the page, 120 made it to the checkout page. And if I can get them to see the checkout page for, let's say, $20, and I make $75 on average for every person that sees it, that's a great ROI. So that's the stats section. If I click on sales here, you'll see that they actually moved this tab. It's just in here from an earlier version of the funnel builder. So you don't even need the sales tab. All the information is on the stats tab anyway. One more thing I do want to show you while we're here though, is showing you the A/B testing function in high-level. Now this is on the $497 plan only. So if you don't see this in your account, that's why. But you can see here that this page is go.itskeaton.com/4pillars. And I have this set to a 50-50 split. So if you were to type that into your browser right now, 50% of you will see this page on the left and 50% of you will see this page on the right. And it gives us some very helpful information here, like the opt-in rate for the control and the opt-in rate for the variation. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to make a decision about what I'm going to do here because I have enough data. I've had almost 5,000 people visit the page, and this one on the left is doing much better than the one on the right, almost by 3%, which is significant when you multiply that across thousands and thousands of people viewing the page. So what I can do here is say, declare this one the winner, and it's going to say this will promote this page as control and delete the remaining page. Now, I don't want to delete this page, so what I could do instead is just route this to be 100% of traffic, so I can make sure to save this page if I want to tweak it and try it again in the future. And I actually have a redirect going to this page, so what I'm going to do is click apply here, so that redirect also goes through this split test. Go ahead and click apply, and there we go. It actually wiped all of that data, so good thing that I have it saved. But that's the very cool thing about the split test function here. So here we are back in our test funnel, and now it's time to actually start creating the pages inside of our funnel. So for this first page, we're going to go ahead and click create from blank, and it's going to pop us into the actual funnel builder here. And the first thing that you'll see is whether we want full width, wide, medium, or small. Now, I know this is confusing with absolutely no context, but basically what this is talking about is the wideness of the funnel. So if I select small, it's only going to let me build inside of this green box here. However, if I delete this and I click that undo button and I go ahead and click full width, I'm going to have this full area to work with inside of the funnel builder. Now, this is the really important thing to understand about the high level funnel builder, and that is that there's a hierarchy of building in here. So the green, also called sections, is the top of that hierarchy, and the next section is called rows, and those are blue. So what it's going to ask me here is how many columns do I want to add within this green section? And the answer to that is it totally depends what I'm building. And what I want to build for you guys today is an exact replica of that winning opt-in page that we just saw in that split test. So for this first one, we're just going to have one column because that's all there is. So as you can see, it added a blue row here. If I were to select 2 columns, it would add 2, and so on. Now here's the thing, inside of this blue one, it also added this purple section, which is a column. Blue and purple go together, as we know, because we selected the column. So now this is where we really get to the fun part. We select add element, and finally we can add text, forms, bullet points, all the fancy stuff that you've seen on landing pages. This is how you actually put them in. So for us, what we're looking for is actually a logo at the very top. And the way that we'll add that is by going to image. Now it's going to put this very ugly, big, gray thing here. So the way that you edit this and anything inside the funnel builder is on this left side, the properties of whatever you're clicking on the page will be shown. So for here, we've got orange. So on this orange element, you can see the properties here. However, if I were to click on this green section, the properties and settings of the section is now showing up. So if I come here, we've got the padding, which is obviously important. We can switch to themes as kind of what we want to be behind the image, if anything at all. And then in advance, you can decide whether you want it to show up on mobile and desktop or neither, etc. But for the purposes of this, all we're doing is just scrolling down to this image, and we don't have anything loaded in this test account. So I'm going to have to click upload file and then find the agency dominance logo. There it is. And then I just double click on this and it will put it on the page. Now, obviously that's way too big for what we have so far. And so what I'm going to do is come here to width and try to find a good width for it. So that's 100. I think I wanted a little bit bigger than that. So we'll go 150. That looks nice. Now, if I wanted to change the height here, I could. Obviously that doesn't look good, but you get the idea of how the settings work. Okay, beautiful. So we've added the logo in there. The next step is adding this big headline that says the 4 pillars to a 7-figure agency. Now, a little secret here is that this text is actually not text. It's an image. If I try to drag it like this, I can actually drag it off and onto my desktop. So if we were to recreate this exactly as it looks now, we would need a picture, but for the purposes of this video, I will show you how to do it with a headline element. So as you can see, I just added that headline. It says large call to action headline, and I'm just going to change it to the words that we have on the screen there. The 4 pillars to a 7-figure agency. Great. And again, the properties are going to be here on the left. So what I can do is increase the size of this to make it more like the original to 100 there. And that looks pretty good so far. Now, how would I go about changing the color here? That is the question. If we scroll down here to color options, we've got, first of all, the regular color, then we've got the bold text color, the italic text color, etc. So if I were to change this bold text color to, let's say, blue, the whole thing changes to blue, which means that this whole thing is bolded. Now let me go through and unbold this, and now you can see we've got the 7-figure agency in a different color there. And I'm just going to move those around. That looks looks a little bit better. However, I still don't love this. I wish it looked a little bit different. Let me try it in all caps there. Still not looking quite as good. And now you can see why we use images, because I can't actually go through here and bold this without it turning into the same color as everything else. I want it to be bold, I just want it to be a different color. So we'll have to leave it as is for now, but that should give you a good idea of how the headline element works. Now next up is adding this sub headline underneath here. We're going to go to sub headline and just add that in. And this works exactly like a headline element. All we have to do is come in here and paste what we had in the other one. Now I'm going to unbold all of this, and I'm just going to go through and bold the 4 secrets as well as underline the 4 secrets, bold and underline 7-figure agency as well. And then I'm going to hit return there so it looks a little bit better. I'm also going to increase the font size just a little bit so that looks better. And I'm going to show you guys a little hack here. I'm going to come to settings and then typography, and inside of these settings here, these are global settings for this whole page. I can change the font on everything that's a headline as well as everything that's content. So if I come to headline and I click, let's say we change this to Open Sans, and then I come here to content and I change that one to Montserrat. There we go. Looks beautiful, but also it's saved our settings so that every single time we create a headline or create something in the body, it's going to have the same exact font, unless we go back here to the individual element settings and change this manually to either the content font or a custom font here, which obviously is not recommended, but they do have tons of different fonts in here because it's plugged into Google Fonts, which is very big. Perfect. So now that we have that built, let's go ahead and click save. Very important. And every time you click save, it's going to pop up this thing that says, warning, change the default SEO, page title, and description. So basically what's going to happen is every time somebody visits this page, it's going to have a title here in the tab that it's on, and we want that title to be helpful. So in the title, I'm going to say agency dominance free training. And you can see that it's actually adding that info here as well. Then we're going to say, learn the 4 pillars to a successful 7-figure agency. Then we can also add the keywords, the author, the social image, any custom meta tags, etc. This is all very important if you're going to be sharing this funnel on social media, or it's going to be linked somewhere or somebody else is going to be sharing it. So definitely recommend that you do all of this so that you look professional not only on the page, but when the page is being sent. So you'll just go ahead and click update metadata here, save again. And now that that blue blinking dot is gone, we know that we're good to go here. All right, so the next step is to add the form underneath this headline. Now, the thing with forms is they're not actually built inside of the funnel themselves. They're built in a completely separate builder. So let's go ahead and hit save again. So we'll go ahead and exit out of here. It's giving me this error that changes aren't saved, but I hit save like 15 times. When it gets stuck there, sometimes you can lose previous work, sometimes you won't, but it's completely stuck at this point, so I'm just gonna have to leave. All right, looks like it's saved for us there, which is great. Now what we're gonna do is go to forms, click on builder, and we're going to add a brand new form. Again, we have the option to start from scratch or choose a template. I'm going to start from scratch here, and it's going to ask me to add in elements. So for us, the only thing we're asking for in this form is the email, and that's actually a little hack for you guys. Make it as simple as possible. And so that's what we're going to drag over here. Looks pretty good. However, it doesn't really look like the one that we have on this page. And so what I'm going to do is click off of here and do styles and options instead. And you can just turn off show label here. So that's great. It looks perfect. And then also I'm going to make it an inline form. I can also toggle to make it a line or go back to a box. We do want to add this nice colored border on the outside. So what we're going to do is go to border and then change the color. I have this color saved, so you can just come in and change this. You should have brand colors. If you don't, then you can play around with this color slider and just move this around to what you want it to be. All right, that looks great. And then there's tons of other settings that we could change here. For now, we'll just leave it like this, but we do need to add the button as well as some text on here. So I'm going to do the button first. We'll put it there. We need to change a lot on that. And then we'll add the text underneath the button there. All right, so now let's go to the button. First of all, we need to center it. Background, we're going to change to this color for sure. And then we're going to go ahead and put a corner radius in at 10 pixels. So that makes it round like that, which is great. Then we can change it to be full width. Perfect. We need to change the text on here to unlock the free webinar. And then we'll add the emoji in here as well. And now you're probably wondering, okay, how do we get it to have that nice looking gradient on it though? And that's going to be custom CSS. So I'm not a coder, but I had somebody make this code up. And what I can do is go to this just general styles and options here. This is everything included, and I'm going to go to custom CSS, and as you can see, this applies to the button, and then it has the info, and if I click save, it will add that gradient in, which looks quite cool. Nice. So lastly, we just need to add this piece of text here. Let's go ahead and center it. The text is going to be, we promise to never spam you or sell your information. We're going to change the size to say 13 pixels. That looks great. Font color is going to be black. And there we go. This looks really good. The only issue is that we've got this white background that we don't really want. So if we go back here to styles, we can go to background and just make this completely transparent because we want it to match the background of whatever we're doing. Okay, so now that we've upgraded the background both on form style and on submit, we've got this, but we still have this pesky little border there. So we're gonna go get rid of that and just make that fully transparent as well. And there we go. However, now that we've removed the white background, you can see that this needs a white background in it, and this also needs the white background removed. So go make this transparent. Perfect. And then in styles here, we'll go to field style and go ahead and make this perfect. All right, there we go. That looks amazing. So let's go ahead and click save one more time and then head back to our funnel. Go ahead and click on test funnel here, go back to our page and then add another element, select form. And then I believe it was form 6 that we just created. And there you go. It's right in there with everything else. Looks amazing. All right, so now you can see on this page that the background sort of changes. So we've got the background of this first part, and then we go into this blue background, and then there's a picture of me in the background on this last one here. So the next thing to do here is go ahead and add in a background. And to do that, we're going to click on settings for this green section, make sure that that's what's popped up here. And then you can see we can either change the background color. So if I wanted to make that yellow, it would just make it yellow there. But that's not what I want to do. I want to add a background image. So I'm going to come here to image, and I just looked all over and I don't actually have access to that original image. So I'm going to go ahead and do this image AI here thing, and I'm just going to say money falling on with subtle white and purple gradient background. I'll click see all on the styles here, and we'll just go ahead and do dreamlike, try for 2 variations and click generate. Nice, this is what we got. I'm gonna click cancel and try again with a new prompt. So this is my second try. Let's go ahead and do dreamlike again. We're just gonna try for 1 and see. All right, not too bad. I'll go ahead and click continue. That will add itself to our media library, and we'll go ahead and select that. Cool, that doesn't look too bad actually on the background. The money does look a bit weird, but you get the idea. I'll go ahead and click save just so we don't lose any of our progress here. So on these image options, we have this parallax option, full center. So if I get rid of this section settings here, you can see that when I scroll, the text moves but the background doesn't move. I love that effect, so I'm going to keep that. But you also have options like just changing it to full center where it does move, like everything moves together. You can also do fill 100% width and height, so it looks like that, which is a little bit different. You could do repeat horizontally, which doesn't look great here, but could for certain things, or you could do fill 100% width and just see what we do there. For us, we're gonna do the full center parallax. That looks amazing. And we're trying to get them to focus on this anyway, so that's a great way to do that. Perfect. So now it's time to go to our next section. And because the background is a different color, we need to create a new section rather than just a new row or something like that. So what I'm gonna do is new section. We're gonna go full width, and then we're going to add a row. And as you can see here, we've got a row with 4 columns. So I could go ahead and create those 4 columns here. And this is where we'd go in and add the images in those columns, as well as the text up there that says what you'll learn. However, the what you'll learn needs its own column. So what we're going to do there is just add a 1 column here. And then this is a little trick to make sure that you're not pulling your hair out, building your funnels. Just click this up button and that will move this one above that one. So if you ever make a mistake, you can just move the sections or the elements around like this. Quite helpful. Perfect. So let's add an element here. We'll do the headline, which says what you'll learn. And then we we need to add an image in each one of these. Perfect. And then we need to add some text below each one of these. I'm going to do a paragraph element there. But before I duplicate this text across the whole thing, obviously we're going to want the text to be white because this color background. So first let's change the color background. So I'll click on the settings here, then we'll go background color. And again, I have these options to choose from, or I can click on didn't find your color, add your custom one, and I can click on this and kind of play around with this color picker. Let's go ahead and do that. Add color. That is not the right color at all. And this is why I like to rely on the color codes instead of me trying to pick one from there. A quick hack, there's this Chrome extension called color picker. I can just click choose color from page. I can hover over the section that I want to choose from. And now it's copied that color code to my dashboard. And I can just go here and add that in. Make sure I only have the one, and I'll go ahead and add color. And there you can see it added that color for us. Sometimes that's not 100% accurate, but it does get you pretty close. So now we need to come in and obviously change the color of this text. So we'll come into what you learn and change the color to white. If the color doesn't change for you, it's because the text is likely bolded. So make sure you come and change that as well. Now we'll come into this one and we'll change this to white. Perfect. So now we can copy these over. One hack that I like to do is just click duplicate and then drag this over here. Same thing, duplicate, drag, duplicate, drag. Perfect. So now obviously we have to go add these images in. So let's go ahead and go to the image gallery here. I'm going to upload these. Perfect. And I will put each one in. Again, you just double click to put this where you want them. Boom. Perfect. That is looking gorgeous. Now we just have this last section here on this opt-in page. I'm not going to build it with you because it's the same concepts of what we did before. We need to actually go to the next sections of this landing page to show you how to build those. So let's go ahead and opt in on this page and show you what the second one looks like. Now we've got this page, which is cool and pretty self-explanatory. You should be able to figure out how to do this yourself. Then once they click on this next page, it takes you to this page where you have everything included in the course. It shows you testimonials, all that kind of thing. Again, nothing that we haven't really covered so far that you wouldn't be able to figure out here. A couple unique elements. For example, these guys are going to be bullet points. So if I were to come in here and click on this, instead of adding a paragraph, I would just add a bullet list. And inside of that bullet list, you can select what the bullets look like. So on these, they are videos. So I just come into select the icon and I selected the video one. Change this so you guys can actually see what it says. And then when I click return, it's actually adding this in. I can add padding, etc. to make things a little bit taller. In the advanced section, I can also add line height. So these are a little bit more spaced out. Just some helpful stuff for you guys there. Now, once they finish with this page, they're going to click here and go to the checkout page. Perfect. Looks amazing. And on this checkout page, the only unique thing we haven't seen so far is this order form, which is something I certainly want to train you on in this video. Before we do that, it's really important that we consider what this page looks like on mobile. Most traffic nowadays is coming through on a mobile phone. And so what I need to do is come through and click on this mobile button, and that's going to show me what this looks like. Now, this one happens to look quite good. There's a little bit of like extra space here, which looks a little bit weird, but it's not terrible on mobile. But for certain things that you build with the funnel builder, you're going to have to make each section mobile or desktop. And the way that I do that is come in, create a section here. As you can see, mobile and desktop are selected here. I'm just going to duplicate the entire section. So as you can see, we have that there twice. And now on this first section, I'm going to make it the desktop only version. So I deselected mobile. And then on this one, I'm going to make it the mobile only version. So now it'll disappear when I'm on the desktop view. But when I go to mobile, there it is. So any changes I make to this will not show up. So if I were to delete that whole thing and I come back here, you can see that headline is still there. Now this can make for some tricky things because you'll think that you changed everything on the landing page, but you forget to change it on the mobile side. You have to be very diligent about these things when you're working with the funnel builder. So that's just the nature of how these things work. All right, now it's time to go to the next step in the funnel and add that order form that we were talking about. However, when I'm doing this, I like to think, okay, I'm going to the next step in the funnel. How is the person that's opting in actually going to get in there, and is everything correct? So what I mean by that is if I click on this form element and I scroll down, you can see that this button action doesn't actually have anything assigned. So we can say either go to a website URL, so we could type in a specific URL that we want them to go to, or we could just say go to next step. In this case, we definitely want go to next step and click save. That ensures that anybody that actually clicks submit and wants to go to the next page actually gets redirected there. Super important. One more thing I will say about buttons is that if you didn't create the form inside of the form builder, you'll actually have a lot more options with them. So I'll go add the button element here, and I can do click to sign up. And then you can see that these options are actually a lot more extensive. So I can open a website URL. I can hide certain elements if they click on it. I can scroll to a certain element. So this one's interesting. If I click on this, I can select the actual element that I wanted to scroll to. So let's say it's this image that I wanted to scroll to. Now, when they click on this, it'll just scroll them down a little bit. So an example of this is something like on my mastermind page, I click on yes, I am in, and it scrolls me all the way down the page like this. Same exact thing. Other options, we could go to a specific step in the funnel. So it could be a different one, not the next step. We could go to the next step. We could do a one-click up or down sell product. So that means if they've already filled out their payment info, all they have to do is click that button and it will charge their card automatically, which obviously is very powerful. They could call us, send us a text, email us, or it could link them to the specific membership product that you've added them to. So if you've just sold them a course and you say click here to go to your membership, this is what that button would do. And then the last one we missed here is actually this open pop-up, and this confuses a lot of people, so it's good we're talking about it. If I go all the way up here to the top of settings and I click on this pop-up, that's going to give us a pop-up. So you've probably seen this on the landing page before when you click on it and then it pops up a form or something else. So if I click on here, it's kind of like its own mini funnel inside of the funnel. So I can do up to 6 columns. It's going to be quite small, so I don't know who would be doing 6 columns there. Typically you just do 1 column. And then I could add my form in here instead. So I could do the form 6, and this would pop up inside of the pop-up. So someone would come to the page, they would click on click to sign up, and because the action is open pop-up, it would pop that up, they would submit their info, and then I would need to assign this one as well to go to the next step in the funnel. Now, as I was explaining that to you, the funnel builder just kind of wigged out and deleted that entire section that we were working on earlier. This is not uncommon, and it's not unique to HighLevel's funnel builder actually. Pretty much every website builder like this is going to have some caching issues where it has problems saving, and so you need to be really, really careful and just accept that sometimes your work is going to be lost. But if you want as little of that as possible to happen, make sure you're hitting save super often and then exiting out of the funnel builder and going back into it to kind of reset things. You could also do a hard refresh, not when you're working on unsaved work, but just to kind of refresh it and let it work a little bit better. Again, not ideal, but not unique to HighLevel. All right, so now let's actually go to the page with that order form. I could go ahead and click back here and then navigate to the step that way, or I could come here to this little icon and click on step 3. So step 2 was supposed to be the video. We're not going to build that for the purposes of this video, but we are going to go to step 3 and build this checkout page. All right, awesome. So for this one, I'm actually going to go wide instead of full width, because as you can see here, we don't really take up the full page. And then I'm going to add a row with 1 column, and we're going to go ahead and add the logo again. As you can see, we kind of have this banner thing at the top. So let's create that first. Image, add the logo, shrink the logo to 150, and then we'll go ahead and do a background on this one that is dark blue. Good enough for now. As you can see, this isn't filling up the whole page like it should, and that's because I made the mistake of making this section for this instead of this top bit here. So what I can do is just go add a new section here, do full width, and move this entire blue part into here, and then I'll just delete this because we don't need it right now. And I will change the background again on this to that lovely, let's do dark blue here. And then to make this save the way that we want it to, I'm going to get rid of all the padding on the top, padding on the bottom. That should stick right up to the very top of our funnel there now. And if I click on each of these elements, they're also going to have their own padding. So let me go to this column here, and I can get rid of the padding on the top and bottom. And then on this element, padding on the top and bottom. And that shrinks it enough to where we have what we want now. SEO metadata is popping up for us. Now, in order to build this section, what we need to do is create a brand new section. Now, sometimes it's kind of hard to get the right thing to pop up here. As you can see, I'm trying to get the green one to give me a plus green, but instead it's just giving me a plus on the blue here. So in that case, I'm going to come to section and I'll just click add section, and I'll go wide on this one. Awesome. and we're going to do 2 columns because we've got these 2 columns here. On the left hand side, we've just got the image. That's easy. And on the right hand side, we're going to do an order form. Now you can see we've got a 2-step order or 1-step order. The difference is on this 2-step order form, I've got name, phone, email on this step, and then I click go to step 2. And this is helpful because we save that info. So if they go to step 2 and they see the price and they're like, oh, I'm not quite sure right now, I need to think about it, we have the proof that this person is high intent. They wanted to see that price and they looked at the checkout, so they heavily considered it, and we can set up automations and everything to fire off of that. That's the benefit over the 1-step, which is just going to be everything on one screen right here. So let's go ahead and add our 2-step order form here. We've got a lot of info on here we don't need. As we know, simplicity is very important. So I'm going to go to the advanced setting on the 2-step order form. And as you can see here, I've got the step 1 showing up, and then I can see step 2 here. And then we've got the settings for each of those here. So in this case, this says shipping. I'm selling a digital product. I'm not actually shipping them anything. So instead, we're going to say your account info. Just go ahead and put that in. Subheadline is just going to be name, email, phone. Nice. And then I'm going to hide the company name because we don't need that. We can't hide full name and email address. I could hide phone number, but I do like to keep that in there. So that's just name, phone, email. And then on shipping, I'm just going to go ahead and hide this whole section. So it looks just like that. Perfect. Then we go ahead and go to advanced here. And now it's saying your info here, which doesn't really make sense. So what I'm going to change it to is payment info, and we'll say card or PayPal. That's what I like to put in there. And then it's saying backs to shipping text. You have to be really careful here because it says edit shipping details. We don't want it to say edit shipping details. We want it to say edit account details. And then here, this item text, as you can see, says item here. For me, I typically just keep this item, quantity, price. You could change item to product, not a massive deal, but this is where most people get super confused because they're like, how do I add the product to this? It's like, it's not showing up. It says dynamic item here. This confused the heck out of me when I was first starting with funnel building. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do that. There's a bunch of other settings here that you can include or not include, but let's go ahead and click save, and I'll show you how to add products. So you're just going to go back to this section, and here we're going to go over to products. Super important. Go ahead and click add product, and here you can see that you can select previously loaded products that are inside of your account. In this case, I don't have any previously loaded products, but I can go ahead and click create new product by clicking here. And that's going to take me to the payments tab up here, as you can see, and I can go ahead and click create product. So let's say demo product 1. And in the product description, we can say this is the demo product for this video. We have to select what product type this is. By the way, you won't be able to do this unless you've integrated Stripe or something else first, so please make sure you check that out. We can add in an image, additional options like statement descriptor, etc. This is basically just pulling straight from Stripe. We can call the pricing name one time, $14.97. Let's say that's the type of the product, one time. And obviously $14.97. Price description we can add whether it's a membership offer or not, assign it to whatever that is. Okay, we should be good here. All right, so we've created our demo product 1. Now let's say we want a payment plan for this demo product. So it's the same thing, demo product payment plan. We'll just put in some dummy data here. Let's say it's digital goods because we're selling a course. I'm going to call this payment plan 4 times 400. This is going to be recurring. It's going to be $400 and it's going to be monthly. Now, if we go to additional options, you can see the number of payments. So here it's a payment plan and it's just 4. So I'm going to add 4 in there, and perfect. And now we have our 2 products. We can go back 2 sites here, back to our test funnel, back to step 3, which is where we're building this, and we can add these products in. So we'll click add product and we'll do demo product 1. We'll search for the price. I know this is a little bit weird, like you have to add the product and then you have to add the price. It gets a little bit confusing. Don't overthink it. We can add a price display override. So this is something that would display specifically here instead of elsewhere where you may be selling the product. You can allow multiple quantity to be purchased, or you can assign this as a bump product. So what a bump product is it's something that they encourage you to add to your order at the bottom of the order form. So an example here on this page, let's say I fill out this 2-step order form with all my information. You can see these bump products right here where you can click add. Now this page is obviously built on Clickfunnels, so the UI will look slightly different for high level depending on what you select, but you can see that these are products you can add on where you put in this information. You're buying the book itself, but you can add access to the audiobook, or you can add access to this other upgrade. Perfect. So this is going to be a main product. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. It's going to be disabled because we don't have any payment integration on this test account, but you should. Then we're going to add the payment plan in here, and we'll just go ahead and leave that as a main product. We'll just go ahead and put 1 for that custom authorization. Perfect. And then we come back here to overview. And if we click preview on the page there, click go to step 2, you'll see that our demo product 1 is showing up, but it's not actually showing demo product 2. So it looks like we need to go back inside of the actual step. It might be because I don't actually have any payment data plugged in here, but this is what it looks like on the funnel that we've been building today. Exactly the same. All the products are the same. If you do have any weird issues like this where it's just not working for you, go ahead and go to speakwithus/success, and GoHighLevel will hop on a Zoom call with you and actually help you through this kind of thing, which is massively helpful. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been how to use the GoHighLevel funnel builder. Lots to learn, lots to apply here. If you're looking for training to grow your agency, go ahead and check out go.itskeaton/4pillars, the exact funnel we've been building during this training, and we will see you inside the training. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.